Okay, so we've got the front and rear spoke set. And the gasket set. And what else? Okay, so this is the header pipe that came off the bike. I haven't done anything to it to try and clean it up or anything, and I decided not to. It's got a dent in it down here, and I think there's another one. Yeah, there's another one under here. So it's damaged anyway. And yeah, I was looking on AliExpress of all places, and they had a replacement. So that has now arrived. I'll just show you what that looks like. Looks bloody beautiful. Cost of that was around $80. I think it was $81 something. So yeah, it looks the goods. So yeah, I'm happy with that, and that's going to look really sweet once the bike's back together. Okay, and we also got a graphics kit, which the orange doesn't look very bright, but once you sort of peel back the plastic protective layer, it's not too bad. And I have compared it with the plastic on the guard, and yeah, it doesn't look too bad. It's a little bit duller, but not too bad. And I guess the big thing is that piece there for the front guard. I thought it had bits that come right up the side, so I'm going to have to polish that some more, and I'll show you the result of that when I do it. But yeah, it just means more work. Yeah, well, what the hell. Okay, so today we're going to set up for zinc plating. Alright, so first we need a power supply, which we have. It's just a pretty basic power supply we grabbed off, I'm pretty sure I grabbed it off Alibaba. Okay. Alright, and then we're going to need a plastic bucket to put our zinc brine in, and I already have some that I've saved from last time. So the brine consists of basically vinegar, about a tablespoon of salt, and yeah, that's pretty much it. So once that brine is made, then we take our zinc anodes, we put them on some wire. I'm going to clean these up in a sec, and hang one at each end and connect to our power supply. So we'll just pour the brine in first. So it's probably important to note, if you are making the brine, you need to drop the anodes in and let it run for, oh, I don't know, maybe an hour or so. And anyway, what happens, the water will obviously change colour. So the zinc generally goes this kind of shitty brown, yellowy colour. And you'll also need like a copper rod. Basically, when we start anodizing, we'll use a piece of copper, we'll tie our thing to it, we'll hang it in the brine. We'll connect the, pretty sure it's the negative to here, and it attracts the zinc to the to what we're trying to zinc. All right, so I'll just quickly prepare these up, and we'll jump ahead. Also, what we will need which I'll be doing outside. I'll just grab that and show you. Okay, so what we will need is another bucket, and we'll need some hydrochloric acid, and that'll be used for cleaning. Okay. And we'll also need another bucket for water. Now this water is not just tap water, because tap water's obviously got minerals and stuff in it. So we will need to have some demineralized water. So you can pick this up at the supermarket. Pretty easy stuff. We use it in, usually used for, what is it, ironing. So you can get that, bang that in there. And once we've dipped in the acid, we can rinse it off in water. So I usually have like 2 of these, one outside with the acid. And because if you dip it in the acid and then you know, doing it in normal tap water, it's going to attract crap, and then when you put it in here, your zinc will be you know, blotchy, or it won't take right because there's something still on the metal. So anyway, look, that's our basic setup. I'm going to quickly go and set it up, and we'll run through the process. Okay, we've had that in there for a little while now. It's reasonably clean. I don't know if you can see it on the camera, but where the foot peg's been sitting through the center of the shaft, it's a bit discolored, but the tip and the head look okay. So we're just going to put that in some distilled water. Again, same thing here. I'm just going to let that soak. Okay, so just getting back to this, we've cleaned up the parts. They're just soaking in the distilled water at the moment. So I'm going to add to what we're doing here. I've melted a couple of slots in there to stop that moving around. I have prepared the anodes that we need, and they need to go in one at each end. So that's how I hold that one, and that is how I will hold the other one. So I might put that at the other end. Alright, so if we connect up our power supply, and turn it on, 25 volts at 1.9, so you know, for small parts it doesn't need to be all that high, so we're probably 1.5, 1.6 amp. So if we look at the anodes at the moment, this one is bubbling and this one is not, so it's the one is releasing zinc into the brine. So anyway, we'll go here and hook these up. Mistake, shouldn't have handled that. Okay, and now what we need to do is positive attracts, so we need to take the positive wire, we need to connect it, and that will start attracting the zinc to the part. And we're going to leave that in there for probably somewhere between 15, I would say around about 15 minutes roughly, that we're just going to keep an eye on it. Now the other things that we're going to add to this is it's pretty hot here, so the water temperature is not going to be all that cold, but you do need to have it at temperature. So I've got a fish tank heater. I'll drop that in, and just for the sake of the video we'll plug it in. And also it's good to have a flow in there, to have that flowing around, or it just sort of attracts to one spot. So I've got a water feature pump. Just going to drop that in there, and I'm going to plug that in also. Hear that rattling away. That's just going to keep the water moving, and yeah, that's pretty much it. So we'll zinc up those parts and we'll see what they look like. Okay, so I'm just going to show you here. It's actually the positive to the anode and the negative to the part, and I think I said before the other way around. Well, my bad. But here, this has just been in here for a couple of minutes, and you can already see that it's starting to take on the zinc. So how long has it been there? It's been there been in this process for maybe like 4 minutes. So it comes pretty quickly, but again, like I said, we've got the little pump there moving the water. We've got the heater over here keeping the water, and I've got it set at around, I think it's around 30 degrees. Let's have a look. I'm not sure. Oh, sorry. Yeah, 30 degrees Celsius. So what's 30 Celsius? That's about 86 or so Fahrenheit. Anyway, I think it just, for me, I just found that it works better if the water is warmer, or the water brine is warmer. So let's just keep it at a constant temperature. Alright, so we're just going to let that bubble away for a bit. And I mean, what you do notice, if you've got the polarity around the right way, the part will sort of bubble and have, so it's attracting or getting the zinc on it. So that's one thing to remember if you're not sure the polarity. And again, we're just running at a very low amperage, just for 2 parts. Obviously, the bigger the part, so if I start doing an axle or something like that, then I'll need to up the voltage and up the amperage because it's a bigger part. You can use GPT chat actually to get an idea on the voltage and amperages, and you can also Caswell, who have a kit. You can buy a kit. It's about Australian, about $260 odd, I think, somewhere in the $250 to $300 mark, and it also has a brightener, which is something that I don't have in here. So this is just going to be a dull zinc, and what you do is once it's done and dry, you can give it a bit of a light buff up with a brass brush, and it will bring the shine, or take the that kind of oxidized look off the top and give it a shiny look. Worked pretty well. Okay, so our zinc's been sitting in here for about approximately 15 minutes. Bring it out and wash it around. You can see the color change. You can see, obviously see how dull it is. So it seems to be coated reasonably well. the longer you leave it, the thicker the coating is, and we do want a reasonably thick coating because we do want to protect it, and especially when we're going to start scrubbing it with a soft brush, because you know that does take it off. So you need to make sure you've got a thick enough coating that you don't rub through it. Alright, but yeah, so 15 minutes, maybe I might leave it in there for another 5 just to make sure. It doesn't hurt to sort of, you know, watch it and come around, give it a bit of a swill around as well. It did shake some of the other crap off it and just keeps it looking pretty clean. You can see the hairs on it. That's just the zinc, give it a bit of a swill around it. They sort of fall off, but I mean they just come off anyway. You can see on there it's got like different coloration through it. That's just because of the metal impurities in the metal sort of coming out. Okay, so I've taken these out and rinsed them in the distilled water, and what we're going to do is we're just going to let them dry. They you probably see a line there where I've had the wire through. I mean, it's not too bad. I mean, these are going to go in that way, so that's what's really important, that part. But yeah, we're just going to let them dry, and I've pretty much got to go off to work now, so I'll let them dry and I'll give them a scrub tomorrow and we'll see what they look like. Okay, so here we have the zinc coated, right? And you see it's all powdery looking, and this one here I've just given a light touch with the little brass brush. I mean, it's not much bigger than a toothbrush, but basically just cleans all the dustiness off it and gives it a bit of a shine. You can compare the two there, but you know, it's a rusty old part that's now protected and looks half decent. So that's that. Now I can clean up this one. I'll just show you. It's not being aggressive with the brush, just giving it a bit of a scrub, you know. Right, so I'll do just a bit around here, and you'll see just takes all that powdery stuff off it, and you know, I'm not scrubbing through the coating. So, and remember that was about roughly around about 15 minutes or so in the process, so we can see the difference. You know, I guess if I did this on a wire wheel on a grinder or something, it would just rip through that, just rip it back to the steel, and we obviously don't want that. So yeah, we'll say something that, you know, probably looked like that, and now it looks like that. And I'll go and put it on the bike and we'll see how that looks. Okay, so got the spring here. Oh, not enough hands. Alright, let's just sit that here. Well, that ain't gonna work, is it? Well, that's fucking useless. How the fuck are you supposed to do that? My fucking god. Oh, it's fucking useless, isn't it?